It's ticking, it's ticking. We are live. We are live. We are streaming on the Awkward Black Tribe channel on YouTube Live. And this is episode 2. This is episode 2 of Insecure. This is the definitive Insecure chat, the one where we wait 5 days because we want to give people time to watch the episode multiple times and have all that water cooler conversation and make sure you get your thoughts and opinions rooted in the truth of who you are. So that's what's going on. That's what we do here. And absolutely, everyone watching now, please let me know where you are. Let me know. That's right. Get active in the chat. Talk black to me, as Vicky Dillard would say. I'm gonna put that in the chat. Talk black to me. All right, for sure. So here we are, beautiful Black people from all over the country, the Bay Area, as well as Washington, D.C. and Los Angeles. Yes, indeed, we are here to talk about Insecure episode 2. And so the first question I just want to throw out to people is, what did people think of the episode overall? What did people think of the episode overall?
I can share.
Yes, please.
I actually really liked it. I was so happy to see Molly and Issa reconcile in a way. I didn't know what to expect, but those awkward moments, which I know they kind of wanted to have there, to sort of like, so you can sort of see them work through it in real time. I know they were saying. So, I mean, I appreciated that, but I especially loved how they got back together, like being robbed by, an old college mate. Like, I don't know. I just really appreciated that because it's like the strangest circumstances that remind you of like who your truths are when you can laugh at something that could have potentially been harmful, but right. No one can laugh at that with you but a certain friend. So I just appreciated that moment because at that I was like, yeah, that's what friendship is. That's what that kind of friendship is. And then they just forgot about all the other stuff. Just seemed like a true reconciliation,
You appreciated the Oakland robbery.
Oakland robbery. Let's I act like I haven't pulled up at Quarter Pound and experienced something very similar in my lifetime because I have.
All right. So speaking, I'm sorry. Were you about to say something? I thought somebody was about to say something. Okay. So, speaking. All right. The friendship is back. They seem to be back. What did people think? So I had to watch it multiple times before I really understood this. If I'm not mistaken, there's a year that elapsed between episode 1 and episode 2, right? So,
correct.
Okay. All right. So a whole.
Did he freeze?
Yeah, he froze.
And so I was thinking, that is a whole lot. Right? So I guess they've been healing for a whole year. Let me just put that out there. What did people think? What did people think about that year? Because that means a lot.
I think that's great. Real. Oh, sorry, Jessica, go ahead.
Oh yeah, that's the same thing. I think that, right? Like if they had act like that was 2 weeks later, I wouldn't have bought it. In terms of really reconciling and healing our relationship, it wouldn't have felt right. And it's last season, so they didn't have a lot of time. They had to fast forward a year. We skipped all that so that we can see them back together, I'm assuming.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah, that's real. I mean, and it looks like Molly needed some time to evolve herself as a person. We saw her kind of looking back, those snippets of when she had beef with, I forget if it was the men in her life, I think it was, but she had to really come to some realizations about who she was as a person.
Okay.
I would say that for me, to be honest, just thinking about it, it was a little jarring because I feel like I missed something. Like I do get it that it is real, that in real life, you can go a year without talking to, someone who you have fallen out with. But still, that wasn't the only missing part of Issa's life. Like that wasn't the only missing part of all that's going on in Insecure. So I felt like I was missing something in the year, but as the episode went on and I just got caught up in the episode, I forgot all about the year being like a lapse of time. So I think it speaks to the good writing and just the good storytelling that even though a year has gone by, you can still fall right back in the story and not feel like you missed too much.
Okay.
I was stuck on, I was okay with the friendship kind of coming back, maybe a little soon, I don't know, because they kind of talked about it, but it was her getting a new job. I was like, when did Issa get a job? And I thought she was going to be an entrepreneur.
Can we talk about that?
All of a sudden, like when we didn't get any context on, like how she got the job, why she decided to get the job. So that year elapsed is what really threw me off when I saw that she had a whole job.
I have a question. What does Issa do? Because I really don't know what the block entails.
What does Issa do? I think Aiight was about to say something. Let's throw that on the table too. What were you about to say, Aiight? Welcome to the chat, by the way.
Hi everyone, I'm Aiight, and so I just wanted to kind of go off of what is it Kekwa? How do you say your name? Kekwa.
Yes.
Okay. So what Kekwa was saying, like, first of all, I find it really offensive that we're only getting half an hour episodes, right? And so like, I find that to be really offensive. And then having it end like this season is just disrespectful at this point. Cause it's just like, how are we going to go from like a year later with one episode and like, we're just supposed to accept that Issa has this new job now. We're just supposed to accept that like Issa and Molly are friends all of a sudden with like no explanation to like any of these like major moves, right? With like personal relationships and like professional, progressions. And so I don't know. Personally, I'm interested to see Kelly's character and how that's going to evolve, because we're finally getting to see her as like a fully formed human, and so, yeah. Anyway,
I want to second that in that I really miss Kelly's character. She's becoming one of my favorites. But in terms of what Issa does, my impression is that the block is supposed to be like an event management company. And I suspect, though, since it's only been a year, that she's probably still having to drive a little bit for Uber in order to continue making her bills. But maybe not. Maybe it really took off very quickly. But I agree. I would have liked to have seen more of how that developed.
I thought the block was Issa's company, like you said, Olivia, an event management company that she ran, but then she started maybe pitching on behalf of other people. So I didn't get the impression that she had another job. I just thought maybe the block blew up.
Right. The block is hot.
Yeah, the block is hot. And I think that is what happened. I think it did blow up. It grew, right? So instead of it being the small itty bitty company of hers, it blew. And so now she's the middleman between artists and big companies that would fund the artists. So she still is her own boss. She still owns the company. She is her own CEO. She's working for herself. So it's not that she has a new job. It's just that her job is just like her company has just grown so much that she can reach to other bigger companies for funding.
And I like that callback in that the woman who runs that, I guess, management agency that she was working with in this episode was on the alumni panel in episode 1. So I like that sense that Issa was learning how to network.
Yeah, I felt like I thought I missed something, like, oh, I wasn't paying attention to something. Because when I saw the idea of her bossing up, man, and going into this boss thing, I get it. Like, she does have her company, but it seemed her relationship with Seth seemed eerily similar to her relationship with We Got Y'all, in the way that if you recall from like from the first season, and the way that like their dynamic and just I understand that this is what really happens in real life. Like, I totally get that, but it was something unsettling to me about her, about this white guy being the gatekeeper and them having to put this art in a way that would make him happy.
Yeah.
But the difference is with
she bossed up though. So I was
Yeah,
like,
with the We Got Y'all, that was kind of like a W-2 versus the Block. She has investors that she needs to answer to. So for me, that was the difference. Is now she's a boss, but you still need money to invest in these events.
I don't think that she bossed up. I think the artist did, and she got lucky by it. Because if you remember, she talked to the artist. I forget what his name was, and she was like, "All right, so these are all the things you got to do." And then he was like, "Nah," and it was too late for her to do anything about it, and it just worked out. You know what I mean? So I think that she's learning. She's gonna learn to trust herself a little bit more. I hope, like, from this experience. Because I agree that it is very similar to what used to happen at We Got Y'all, and she didn't speak up, and then she did the same thing again, but somebody else came in and saved it. And I hope that as we move forward, that she sees that it's like, actually, no, like, I don't have to do this. I can stand by and like trust herself and be willing to take those risks.
That's funny. I don't remember his name either. I just call him Ralph Angel from Queen Sugar.
Right?
Name is Crenshawn.
Crenshawn.
That's important. But
can we talk a little bit about like Issa and working with the artist and trying to navigate?
We're gonna get we're absolutely. I promise we're going to get there. I promise we're going to get there. But first, I wanted to. Okay, so let's enter Molly in her life and where she is. And once again, I had to watch it multiple times before I realized a whole year had elapsed from episode 1 and episode 2. And so with that, thinking about Molly and thinking about like her mother, and her mother is pressuring her to get married. And I was wondering, how did people feel about that? Did people feel like moms is maybe, doing a little too much? Did people feel uncomfortable by that? Or is mom just doing what moms do?
I think it's typical.
Yeah.
I think her mom is.
I think it's a little bit of both. I mean, but I still felt like her mom don't really know Molly's life. Like, she really hasn't seen the issues that she's had in relationships, and Molly isn't quite transparent with her about that. So I get it from the mom's point of view. She's like, when you going to get married and have some babies? And Molly is not, vulnerable enough to tell her to say, hey, I done messed up so many relationships because I don't know who I am and I'm still trying to figure out what I want. And I think just out of respect for her mother, she don't really want to take her there,
So I have like a love-hate relationship with Molly because I find her to be extremely problematic and extremely toxic, but she's a successful Black woman. And as a successful Black woman, it's extremely difficult, like, dating, because a lot of men, especially Black men, find it threatening to like be with like a successful like Black woman. And so
well.
What did you say?
We were doing so well on this chat. No, go ahead.
Sorry to bring it back to reality, but yeah, like I feel for Molly, because like when they kind of panned to her phone when she was revisiting her dating app and she was looking at like all the stuff that she put on that dating app, it's like, honestly, this is like most of the things that like women want. And like, she shouldn't have to feel bad that she has like standards, right? And so, yeah, I mean, like, I feel for her, but like I said, like, I have a love-hate relationship with Molly because she is toxic. She is extremely problematic. But yeah, I empathize.
Her issue was never that she couldn't find a man, though.
Right.
Yeah.
That was never her. That's never been her issue. She's never had an issue with that. The issue is her. So as far as her being a Black man being intimidated, I mean that's not her reality. Yeah. So she's had an array of guys, and similar results for all of them. I'm just wondering, is she even ready for what her mother is suggesting right now?
She's not. You know, it's
No,
interesting you
not
say
with
that.
Herbert.
Not with Herbert.
No, definitely not.
Poor
Her mom
Herbert.
is missing the mark with Herbert. Like, it's like, do you even know your daughter? But I think I can also see like the way she's so ambitious and the way she's gotten where she is probably because of that same pressure her mother applies. Just like, she just knows I have to win, I have to succeed. But then when does Molly get a chance to be vulnerable? So I was kind of like, I was definitely thrown off by the year lapse because I did wonder about Issa's life. I was like, whoa, big, similar to everyone. But I was also like, clearly Molly needed some time to reflect. She needed longer. And I know they weren't able to portray that, but I still think she has a lot of growing to do. I'm curious to see how it goes and who she ends up with. I think that she's going to end up with someone and have a successful relationship before this is all said and done. I do.
Probably that guy from the alumni.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, maybe even with that divorced classmate that they had.
Right.
Yeah.
Very well.
No, I don't want him. I don't. No, not him.
No.
Not him. Not for her. No.
Why not him? Why not him?
Because they were friends with benefits.
Yeah, that's a good point.
They were friends with benefits, and it's not. No. That's not the
20
sole
years later?
basis. That's not the sole basis. The basis is that Issa said she wasn't checking for him. He was never it. He was just someone filling up a void, someone filling up time. It may have been fun. It may have been, enjoyable, but he was never it. He wasn't checking for him. He was checking for her. So that would never be the thing that quenches Molly's thirst.
Right.
Now, I just want to go back to the question of the mother. Yeah, the mother was doing what mothers do. When your daughter has gotten to a point where she's so immersed in career, it's not that Molly is out here trying to be someone who, quote unquote, is going to be wifed up. Molly is really into her career. And that's why it showed up in her online dating. That was a that was a business deal. This is what I'm looking for. What are you bringing to the table? And it was really cutthroat. I don't think there's anything wrong with successful women wanting what they want and holding their standards. I just think that you also have to understand that there's some sense of femininity that you have to bring. I'm not saying that you have to be all masculine, but what I'm trying to say is that there's a yin and a yang in relationships for a relationship to be healthy and functional. And if you want a man's man, like Molly has always been saying, then there's some level of femininity that you need to kind of like exude a bit when you're going for the man that you want. And I think she needs to find her dance and her balance in being able to boss up, but still also having that sense of femininity that is going to pull a man, but not only pull him, hold them where they're at.
Ooh, wee.
You said it right.
So Molly, hold up. So Molly is not feminine enough.
No, that's not what I said. I didn't say she's not feminine. It's a dance, right? Especially if you're a successful woman, right? Mm-hmm. Because when you walk through those doors of your office, you're boss. And boss comes with a certain level of masculine energy, because you're more channeling like, this is just what it is. It's not about being a man or being a woman. It's just about the energy that you hold. And so if you don't know how to balance it and have a dance of showing a bit of femininity so your man can shine in his masculinity, then it becomes a masculinity competition. And a lot of men will hang around. They're just not going to stay for long term because you're not giving them the space for them to be the masculine energy that they thrive in, right? So it's a dance and it's a balance that she needs to learn.
Say that
you said soften her energy a little bit around.
No, she doesn't have to soften her energy around them. Yeah. She just has to understand that she has to give him time to shine. She has to give him room to shine and be the man. And I think when she challenges a lot of the men, she challenges them as if she wants to go toe to toe. And it's not about being toe to toe. It's about allowing your man to, and this may be controversial, and I'm not saying you need to be a doormat, because Lord knows I am not one. But in order to have your man feel like a man, you can't be acting like a man.
Exactly.
The way I would put it with Molly is that I thought she lacked vulnerability and a willingness to sort of go with the flow. You know, she always seemed like she had a script in her head for what the men should be doing at each particular time. Like, she got upset at this one man because he didn't text her when he got home to let her know that he got home safely. And it's just like, you know, this is really not, you know, they seem to be at a part in their relationship when they were still getting to know each other, right? This is not the time for you to start saying, well, why didn't you do this? Why didn't you do that? If that wasn't even that major. So I would say, so maybe we're saying the same thing in different ways, but
yeah,
I would phrase it is that she really needs to learn how to, you know, not be so rigid. I mean, and not being rigid doesn't mean you don't have standards, right? You can have standards for the way people treat you, but that doesn't mean that everybody is, you know, everything has to be this way, that way, you know, in a field marshal type of way. I mean, people can approach situations in different ways, but still come at it from a good place.
And can I say one thing? I'm not going to hog the conversation. I'm going to make this really short. To that point that you made, exactly, because we all get offended in relationships. So yes, he did text, and she had every right to approach him about that subject. It's the way she did it. The way she did it was so challenging. And so it was almost as if she was challenging him. And in that way, men feel threatened if you're challenging him. So it's not the job you hold or the position or the money. It's the energy that you're bringing to them that is more threatening than more so your position or whatever it is that you're holding. I'm going to go on mute now.
Hey,
I have some thoughts.
Go ahead. I want to hear the thoughts. That's Jessica speaking. Go ahead, Jessica.
And I have a question and some thoughts.
Okay. Let's hear it.
My question is, I'm always interested in these conversations when it's like, you know, step back or let a man be a man, using air quotes, because what is that? Like, what does that really mean? Like, we don't even all have an agreed upon definition, if we're just being honest about that. But what does it mean to let me shine? Like, what does it mean for a man to allow his woman, right, or his partner to shine in the way that she shines, not the way you think a woman should shine, right? Because you have this idea in your head of what a woman should be and how you want your relationship to look on the outside. What does it mean for us to both, like, my light don't take away yours, and it shouldn't, right? Like, it really should not. And these kind of conversations make me think a lot about, I read Bell Hooks's All About Love this year, and I'm rereading it again right now. She talks a lot about how dominance and love cannot coexist. Like, the need to be dominant in a relationship, like, means that you are more interested in power than like actually building a relationship, right? And I wonder, like, where does that like fall here? Yeah.
Okay, good.
That's a question to anybody.
Just to reiterate,
putting it out there. Like, what does that mean?
Well, I want to reiterate your question real quick. Everybody in the chat, everybody that's in the chat watching this on YouTube, please like this video, and get active in the chat. Please like this video. And just to rephrase, going back to this discussion, going back to Jessica, you said, what does power? What does what look like? Could you rephrase the question real quick?
Yeah. So in letting them in this whole idea of like being a boss or stepping back to allow him to shine so that he can be a man, right? Again, whatever that means. I don't have a definition of that. So let me be real clear about that. What does it mean to, like, where's the partnership? What does it look like for a woman to shine within a relationship the way that she sees fit, right? Like, I think that's the thing. Like, if that's my energy, if that's who I happen to be, to ask me to be something different, are you allowing me to shine now?
Okay.
Like, why can't we both be, like, I don't understand why we can't both.
And if can I tie this into insecurity? Do you think that could possibly be a problem with Molly, is that the men aren't letting her be who she is in these exchanges? Or is that where you're?
No, I actually agree with, I think it was Olivia who said, I don't think Molly really knows enough about herself. I think that she is doing what she thinks she's supposed to do. And she's not necessarily in touch with herself, right? And like what she really wants out of a relationship. And I don't think she's the only one. I think Molly is a really good example or like symbol, for lack of a better word, of, or archetype. There we go. Like women who are successful, using air quotes once again, and who have certain type of jobs and certain types of power that people make assumptions about you, right? And so I think she's playing this role. And for all we know, what if Molly don't really want to be married, right? Like, what if we don't know this? Like, what if she thinks she's supposed to be married, right? Because check box, check, check. And I don't know if Molly knows what she wants.
Yeah, I think Andrew kind of met her there. I think Andrew was one that was not intimidated. He actually found her very attractive and sexy with all her, you know, her stature. He had a whole lot of respect for her. I just think that Andrew called her out on saying, you know, I make compromises for you and you don't compromise for me. And we both have prominent jobs that we're both trying to get through, and I understand, but she didn't make him a priority like her expectations of him. So she was, you know, I don't think she really has that picture of what type of relationship she wants to have. And I think she's just so used to being single that she hasn't really, really laid a foundation or even just created a pink cloud of what type of relationship she wants to have with her being herself. I think she does have a lot of growing in that area. And that's why I said earlier, it's like other women, she doesn't know what she wants because she's still trying to figure out what's going to be best for Molly.
Oh boy. Okay. Hey, I want to go back to the thing we talked about, should she or should she not be with the friend that's recently divorced who they were friends with benefits. And one line that struck me was she said that you were the only one receiving benefits. That's what she said to the guy. I wasn't sure how to interpret that. Was that a dig at his prowess or lack thereof in the bedroom? Was that a dig, or
He had a quick reply to that statement. What did he say?
I cannot recall.
He said, no, you receive benefits too. And then they listed like 3 examples or so. Do you guys remember? I did memorize what he said, but he was ready and had a response.
Okay.
And he was making fun of himself though. He was agreeing with her, talking about his like little tiny bed and like no ventilation. She's like, okay, but you were about to kid, so cool. Like that was my benefit. Like, it wasn't it wasn't anything crazy. But yeah, they were going back and forth.
Okay.
I think she was pointing out saying that you was just a cheap date. There was no, going to a nice restaurant. It was the cafeteria. You know what I mean? Like for her, it wasn't a glamorous friends with benefits. You know what I mean? It was just practical,
Okay. I mean, if we want to give him a shot, I was thinking, I don't think, I don't know if Molly would be able to, you know what I mean? Molly's, it takes a lot. It takes a lot with Molly, and if she coming out the gate, if that's the way she remembers him, I don't think it's gonna last.
He's not it. He's not it.
He's not the one for sure. For certain, he's not. At the end, she was on a date with another guy, right?
Yeah.
Yep.
A totally different guy, totally new guy, right?
Yep.
Okay. Yep. Just checking. All right. So the college guy is not the one. Herbert's definitely not the one. So we'll see.
Honestly, though, I think Herbert would like really support her though, because I think I think that like he would like truly like love her unconditionally and like just really support her. But he would be bored. That would be like the thing. So.
I'm thinking, what if she ends up with Herbert? What if that's like the twist of like something crazy happens and she's like, you know what? I've done the elite stuff. I've done, like I've done all of this. Let me go back to Trap Jesus. Like maybe that's it.
But Herbert is a whole Christian writing Christian songs. She would have to get her religion back.
Trap Christian songs. Trap Christian songs.
Maybe that's what she needs. I don't know.
All I'm saying,
Jesus.
I just noticed how she like lit up with the new guy that walked in and she never looked at Herbert. No way like that. So I don't see it for him. I'm sorry.
But Herbert could be a slow burn, like Herbert could be the one.
Her
Her mom was
them to
more about him than like her mom was all about it more than she was in the movie.
I mean, think about it. Why did he have that? Why did he have that much of a substantial role in that episode? Like, it was funny, yes. It was funny for him to come back and play the song, yes. But then the picture came up again. I mean, I don't know. I'm just thinking that maybe at some point she might evaluate and say,
So could you imagine?
I don't see it happening, but
could you imagine Molly knowing very well how she gets down in the bedroom? Could you imagine a sex scene with her and Herbert? Can you?
We don't know what Herbert got going.
But who says that
Assumptions about Herbert? You don't know his life.
He might turn her out. She might turn him out and he might flip it right back. I know what Herbert has going on. Okay?
We have no idea.
We don't know Herbert like that.
You have no, I mean, what does Jesus have to do with the bedroom? What does Jesus have to do with the bedroom?
Bibles go in, so don't sleep on Herbert.
Okay.
Don't sleep on Herbert when their glasses come off.
It's going down. Oh, it's going down.
I think Herbert is gonna be the one to like. She's gonna end up with him, and like he's gonna turn her out. Like he's
the Bible.
She's gonna fall in love.
Bring the Bible in.
He's like, wait, what?
Right. Okay. All right. Scriptures during the middle of the exchange. It's going down.
I mean, he could get some Song of Songs. It's in there. Like if you ever read it yourself, listen. They go in that particular book of the Bible. So
in a room full of Herbert supporters. Okay, it's all good. Okay, so I wanted to get back to what Olivia brought up earlier. All right, now that we introduced Molly into it, and so Issa is caught in this position, right? we established that she is a go-between. She used to throw her own events, and now I guess she's moved up on that event planning scale and she's organizing other people's events. She's got 10,000 followers on the gram. We know that's not easy to do. And since the panel that she gave in episode 1, she is stuck to her grind for this whole year that has elapsed. She has been grinding. Koya's back. I love Koya, by the way. Koya, her assistant, and she still has the same assistant. So they've been doing their thing, and all of that is dope. Issa on boss mode. She wasn't discouraged. Shout out to her. Now, though, she finds herself in this position where she is supposed to advocate for the dreams of Crenshawn, this formerly incarcerated man who wants to plan this super elaborate event, but she is working with Seth and whatever that entity that Seth, whatever the name of that is, she's working with him, and she's like the go-between. And I was wondering, by the end of the episode, Seth was elated, but it felt like she may have temporarily lost Crenshawn. He seemed to be pretty, I don't know, I want to say disappointed, but he wasn't pleased by the end of the show. And I was wondering, what do people think about that? Knowing that oftentimes people have to navigate these spaces, but just the symbolism of her, white dude here, black dude here, and what do people think about how she functioned in that space? Did she show Crenshawn that she supported him enough? What do people think about how she played that situation and the professional dynamic that unfolded with Issa?
Well, I think he put her in a really bad position.
He being?
Crenshawn.
Okay.
I think he went against her. He put her in he jeopardized her relationship with this client by going for it. And I get it. But that also ruined the relationship between him and her. You know, this is their first time doing business together as well. And if you're going to step outside what we have going, he didn't see her fighting, but she did try to fight for him. But the way he handled it by not telling her last minute, just going for it, good thing that it worked out. But I think it really caused, you know, strain on their relationship now. It's like, how do they come back from this? Do they just let it go? Or what's the next opportunity going to look like for them? Meaning is he going to do the same thing if she puts him in a different platform and try to help him out? He can't really be trusted right now, you know. I just think that he, as professionals, he could have handled it a whole lot better, you know, and definitely not just out of spite. You know, it was not quite professional the way he handled it, but I'm glad it worked out.
Yeah. Just, oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
Terrence, welcome Terrence Green to the chat. Go ahead, Terrence Green, sir.
No, I was just gonna say, well, you know how these artists are. Some of these are just prima donnas, right? And so, you know, that's what she has to. I mean, she wants to deal in this area. That's gonna happen, you know, down the road. That's not gonna be the first time someone's gonna tell her that they're gonna do something. They're gonna go a whole nother way, and it actually worked out, right? It worked out. Dude, like the show. So, I mean, what can she say to him now? She gonna go back and say, well, we're not gonna work together, but then it worked. So I think that when you're dealing with in the industry that she's in, sometimes people are gonna say they're going right, but they're gonna go left. So I think she just gotta kind of get used to that and be able to handle things on the go. And she handled it cool. She did all right.
Okay.
Yeah. The problem that Issa's gonna have, though, I mean, I agree with both Kikwa and Terrence in the sense that, yeah, I mean, a lot of times artists are divas, but as I'm sure we all know, when you're in the corporate space, there are people who will turn against you just because you didn't listen to what they said, even if what you did does turn out right. So I am curious to see, you know, how the show deals with that going forward. I think I read in an interview, I think it may have been with Issa Rae, where she was talking about how she thought Issa was trying to do the right thing, and that, you know, what the artist did was not necessarily the best thing. So again, I am curious to see how they handle that.
Okay. Anyone else on?
I'm a little conflicted.
Mm-hmm.
I'm a little conflicted. I feel that she did sell out a little bit. Mm-hmm. I feel like she should have fought a little harder, or at least listen to him when he was like, no, this is not it. Mm-hmm. I do think that I know there's a game you have to play to be able to get to the top, but with something of this stature, like this is who he is. Mm-hmm. This is all of who he is. Mm-hmm. It's the grind. It's where I came from. It's the perseverance. That was everything. Perseverance is all of it. So for them to take the heart of Crenshawn's show out of it, I understand why he was frustrated. Mm-hmm. And for her to sell it to him the way that she did, it was almost to save her face. She was using a lot of, well, they said, and they want, and they want. And are you in agreement with what they're saying, though? Just because they want that doesn't mean that's what we need to do. So I think there's an aspect of me that feel like she did sell out a little bit, just trying to make sure that he makes it, but then she makes it too. There was a little bit of her own self-interest there that she was trying to push this whole thing for. So,
yeah. I agree. I agree 100%. I think that, and I understand why Issa did what she did, right? Like I 100% get it. Don't rock the boat. Let me keep my job. Let me make sure we all get this, and let me make sure I can work with this company again for future opportunities. I 100% understand all of that, right? But I think what Crenshaw did?
Crenshaw.
What he did I think one, he don't have nothing to lose, right? Think about it. He's been to prison. This is all he got. He's poured his whole self into it. He was like, F it. I'm gonna, what you not gonna do? If I get this break, I'm gonna get this break, right? Like, it's not gonna be some watered down version of me. You know what I mean? This is my first big thing that I'm doing. It's going to be me. And I think that what he did, albeit not in the best manner, I also understand why he did the way he did it. Because had he told her any sooner, it wouldn't have went down. It just wouldn't have gone down that way. Right. I think that what he did actually is going to move that. I really think is going to help Issa stand up more later. I hope that's what happens. And that is going to actually move the needle more in terms of her. I think one of the things she said was like, oh, so they want a white people event that's really, really for white folks, right? Like, we want this white version of it. And that's all she was going to do, and then make a bunch more, right? Because things are becoming gentrified. And she keeps going down that road. Eventually, her events aren't going to look anything like what she actually envisioned, right? Whereas this situation, albeit messy, I think is going to actually keep her on her course of what she said when she was having these ideas of like, I want to bring, showcase Black artists. I want to do this. And, not Inglewood, all this stuff. I actually think what he did is going to help keep her vision, the one she had originally, stay alive. Otherwise, we're going to see it would have kept going down the other path, right? Like, if he hadn't taken that action, to me.
Okay. So it was Jessica's, it was a corrective action. It was something that needed to happen.
Corrective.
It was something.
I like that.
Okay. I'm just saying. Cool. Anyone else on that? Really quick, just to refer to the chat. Niger Girl 9 says, I think she was trying to play it safe, and Crenshawn took it as a lack of support. So that's what Niger Girl 9 said in the chat. Yeah, anyone else on that? That was that was a very, very, very loaded moment. And it was, so neither side, of course, knows, neither side meaning Seth and Crenshawn, and neither side is aware of what it's like to be on the other side. Everyone is strictly dealing from their viewpoint. And she was advocating for Crenshawn. She was doing her best, trying to make sure that his vision was fulfilled. But I think, I don't know that she conveyed it enough to him that she was advocating for him. And so with him coming from a prison background and from the hood or whatever, it's just like, yo, you either down for me or you are not. You know what I'm saying? Like, you got to show me that you're down. I don't play this halfway, like, you down with my team, you down with me, or you down with them. And so I think, like, if she's going to work with people like from that kind of setting, then she's got to know how to give him the impression, let him know that you're fighting for him. Sometimes even more than you're actually fighting for him, you got to make sure that part is squared away. Like, I got you, not for sure, I got you. And then she can do all the, professional talk and all this type of stuff when she get in the room with Seth. But I was just like, yo, Issa, just going back to what Jessica was saying and what was reiterated in the chat, like that thing about like, yo, who are you though, right? And you got to bring yourself into your business. And you grew up with a bunch of people like Crenshawn. You didn't grow up with a bunch of people like Seth. And so don't forget your first language. You know what I'm saying? And I felt like she was kind of in danger of doing that. By her trying to, she got 10,000 followers and this, that, the other, and da, da, da. And yeah, I mean, absolutely. So we'll see. So what's up? Go ahead.
I have a question. Was she fighting for his vision or was she fighting for his success? Because sometimes those two things may not necessarily be the same.
I talk about it.
Right. Because if his vision is making sure that his hood is represented, but she's like, no, I just want you to really just do the show, maybe not do it the way that you want to. I mean, I guess I see how she would fight for his vision because she's saying get your foot in the door, but But there's a price to pay sometimes when you play it that way, because you could play that way and then lose your vision in the midst of doing it, because now all they know you for is that watered down version of yourself, and you may never be accepted for the full version of yourself. So I think it's a game that they were both playing, that especially with Issa's isn't necessarily guaranteed. It's not guaranteed that he's gonna ever get a chance to fully show himself if he first showcased himself as this watered down version of himself.
Can I add something? I know you want to move on from this, Roger.
Nah, Jessica, it's all you. Go ahead, Jess.
I feel like it's not all me. I feel like Issa is to jobs what Molly is to relationships, right?
Whoa.
And so,
Issa is to job. It's been a long time since I took the SAT. Issa is to job, Molly is to relationship. Okay, I got it. All right.
That's the one area in their life where it's like, come on, girl, like, what's up, right? And so I'm thinking about, I sat down last week after we had the conversation last week. I like went back and started rewatching from season 1. So I ran through season 1 and season 2 last weekend, and there was I don't know if y'all remember, and we got y'all when they went to that like the school that was like half Black and half Latino or like Latinx or whatnot, and how she low key like was doing with the principal when she wasn't telling the truth, right? You know, and so then the principal's like discouraging the Hispanic kids from coming to the program, and so she instead of confronting him and being like, no, that's not the type of program that we run here, you know, like this will be equal access to like whatever we're gonna recruit them. She didn't do that. She was like, okay, we're not gonna tell nobody this happened. All right, Black kids can come during this day. We're gonna use the spot on the weekend. And Frida was like, I don't think we're supposed to do this, girl. Like, did you hear what when he was making comments, right? Like, did you hear what he said? Like, did we hear this? I think Issa, because she isn't necessarily confident in like being able to like take a stand. I think she's so nervous about losing what she already has financially and like still being unstable, right? That she isn't always honest. And she doesn't always she doesn't stick to the mission if the mission will make her uncomfortable to have to stand up for, right? Like if it's gonna put her she's not confrontational, neither her, that's why her and Molly got issues. They don't know how to talk. They're not confrontational, right? They want to talk about things. But at work she's not willing to say actually, this is what we're here for, and this is why you asked us to be here. And so, bam. So, Seth, you trust me. You said you brought me here, and you want to be a part of my vision. Because let's not forget, she's the one who wants to bring these events to her neighborhood. She's the one who wants to do this. You are investing in my vision, and I have these things. And of course, there are parameters and compromise that have to happen when you collaborate with companies. But the minute she thought that check. And again, she don't want to have to call her friends again and say, y'all, I got to start over. I know she don't. She does not want to have that conversation. She does not want to sit in a room with Tiffany, Kelly, and Molly again, right? And not have stuff together and not have no full-time something going on, not have no money. And so she's like, I can't risk this. I can't risk the what's already here. I think it's a lesson she's going to learn.
Okay. So it was 100% self-preservation. She wasn't concerned about Crenshawn at all.
Not 100%. That's not fair. That's an absolute. I don't think that is what it is, but I think that was more important. We have priorities, right? So even if it's 49 and 51% is going to win, even if it's that tight.
Okay. So I was thinking about the comparison between Molly and relationships. Molly decimates relationships. If you're saying that that's what she is to her job, then damn.
I mean, wow, that was stressful.
Acting a little harsh. Decimate.
I just think it's back to the don't really know what you want. You think you're supposed to have this thing, and you're not willing to take risks. So that vulnerability, right? I think at work, I think it does take a certain level of confidence in yourself and vulnerability to sometimes go against the grain, right? I think that is a true thing, because it might be actually you are pulled off this project, right? Or we're not going to give you another opportunity like this, right? And sometimes you take that step and it works out, and other times not so much, and then you're like, shit, I shouldn't have said nothing anyway, right? So I understand why I understand why she does it, right? I just think that just like we see Molly repeating patterns, I think we see Issa repeating patterns at work, right? I think we see her doing jobs, not really knowing what she wants. Because people ask, remember when the first time she did the block party, they were like, so what is it? And she couldn't answer it. She was like, oh, and she kept trying to pander to whoever was asking the question. So somebody was like, oh, I'm really into the arts. Yeah, we got arts, we got this. Oh, we really want, XYZ. Oh yeah, we got this too. And she kept building it as it went instead of having her vision. Like, this is what I want to bring and I'm going to sell it to y'all with my full self. She said, well, what are you willing to donate money to? That's what it is, right? Like, what do you want to do? Great. Okay, we'll do that too. Fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay. I got you. Anyone else on this dynamic between Crenshawn and Issa and Seth and all that? I think she wanted to go to bat for him at the dinner when she just wanted to be her and Nadia, and then Nadia invited Seth. Remember that part? Yeah. It was breakfast. They were having steak.
Yeah, I do remember that. You're right.
She was trying to like, look, man, she was trying to, relate to the woman and kind of move in the direction that Crenshawn wanted to move. And she sneak attack just invited Seth, which was kind of, she stayed true to her job. But she was just like, this is not going to be girl time. Nope.
Right. She did not allow that.
Seth's energy that he brought to that table, the look on his face was like, no, she didn't just go over my head. And think that, after we already told her no, she went this far. That I was a little nervous for her, like, oh, it's over. And Nadia didn't say one word. She just was like, and Seth. So she just, she rolled the dice on that. But I'm proud of her because that courage she didn't have before. She didn't want to really take that risk by going as far as she can to get things done. And that showed a little growth on her part.
I agree. Thank you for pointing that out.
And Tia, you were about to say something?
Yeah, I was. It just keeps getting a little choppy, something like I might break up. But I was thinking, well, Crenshawn and Issa, I think that they'll figure things out. I just want to comment on that because really at this point, it's like they're even. Like, he violated, she kind of didn't take the chance on him. So hopefully they can call it a draw and reach some middle ground on that, because I think that there's a lot to explore with what the relationship could be and what he can continue to bring to her, even to her work, her career. And I also think that, like, I understand, like, it's a tough, like, I wouldn't be in an Issa Rae's situation. Like, you have money right here, and then you have like goals, dreams, and aspirations kind of hanging in the balance on the, that's a tough situation to be in. Like, I personally can relate. I've been in a situation where my heart was here, but then logistically, and maybe because of a manager, supervisor, I could only go so far, right? And so it's a tough situation to be in. But so I do understand that you have to make a sacrifice. I understand that she has to make a sacrifice in order to build something gretter, to maybe go independent and do exactly whatever the heck it is she wants to do in the future. And I understand he's looking at it the same way. So I'm hoping that they have that discussion. I think they will. I hope they do. And then it also makes me think of what happens so many times in so many different spaces when we want to step into, when we are wanting to be entrepreneurs and funding is coming from some other place. And it's like, how much, it's like, yeah, we're paying for you. We want you to show up, but not like that. Not all the way like that. We just want some of you, but not all of you. You want the you that we can tolerate. So I hope that they draw on that, because I think that, like you said, I can't remember the name of the nonprofit she was working at before, but it reminds me of that same situation, it's like this authority over Black representation coming from the other, and so, and they can speak with authority, and they can make demands and have ideas about what this is supposed to be perceived as, right? And this guy's like, this is my heart, this is my soul, and I have nothing to lose. So I get how that happened, that scene happened, and I actually really appreciated it. There's so much to unpack on both sides, but it's just, it takes me back to that whole picture. She's trying to make it, but she's reliant on the funding of others. It's just a tough, there's no easy answer. So yeah, I just want to throw that out there. And that continues, right? That's not even just based on this one event. A lot of folks find themselves in that position until they can get where they need to get. For true autonomy.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. It's a bind. It's a
Mhm.
bind for sure. All right. So all right, the moment you guys have all been waiting for at the end of the episode, uh our dear heart, Miss Insecure herself, Issa, she thinks she's back. A year has elapsed, right? Now here's the thing though, right? Before I even get into what happened, what unfolded in the bedroom, or what didn't unfold in the bedroom, I just wanted to. So a year has passed. Yo, the baby's born.
I know. I didn't like
the Condola baby. I wanted to see Condola pregnant. I wanted to see the interaction between Condola in her third trimester, and she sees Issa on the sunset,
exactly.
Whatever. Like that to me would have been the ultimate awkwardness. Like Condola just like, oh, the baby's kicking. Like, I don't know. Like now we can only get that in flashbacks. I just don't think we're going to get that. So,
but that's an assumption that there was a baby born.
Yeah, you think, okay, all right. So you think there could have been a miscarriage or...
Okay.
I'm just saying, if I'm a writer and I'm trying to make things a little interesting, it can't always be so predictable.
I need that baby here on this earth. I need...
Me too.
I'm sorry.
I want that level of complication.
For the sake of the show, that would be very anticlimactic if the baby...
What else has not been anticlimactic?
Oh, that's shady. Oh, that's so shady. Shady.
We had a whole year. We don't know what happened. Number one. She's like, I thought I was ready. Are you telling? So you didn't have none for a whole year? Like,
that's what I'm saying. I thought I was ready. Threw me off. I was like,
hold on. If we're not going to talk about the Condola baby, let me set this up properly so we can just dive into it, right? So at the end, and then everybody watching on YouTube, please subscribe to the tribe, please subscribe to the channel, please like this, please drop a comment in the chat section and in the comment section below the video. Just tag all over this video, please. Thank you. I'm glad you're here. Okay, so her and Nathan. All right. So yeah, it's been a year and they have this moment where she just like, do you want to come in? Bam. Okay. What? So he comes in. Obviously, they've hooked up before. He's just like, he thinks, of course, he thinks it's about to go down sexually. And, they have that moment on the bed and Issa cries in his mouth, which I thought, hold up, no, real talk. Like I thought it was awkward, but it was my heart went out to her like in that moment. I thought that was a really like powerful moment. She showed a whole range of emotions. That was like well done. And so anyway, she cries in his mouth. She's not ready. Okay, bam. So all right. So I before we get into Issa and like whether or not she's been abstinent for a year plus, Nathan left. He held it down for a little bit. Oh, it's okay. It happens. He's out of there. So we don't know what happened in that time in between, like him saying, it's okay and him leaving. But do people think that his departure was justified, or should he have stayed there and spent the night even though he was not going to get any nookie? What do people think?
So my thing is this, why was she crying?
Because she wasn't ready. She was crying over, I guess.
She probably still in love with Lawrence.
Lawrence.
But she didn't say that, right? She just was crying, right?
It's a whole year. It's a whole year. We don't know. It could have been, it could be baby related. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I was wondering. Well, why is she so emotional right now? And she never told him why she was emotional. So when he got up and bounced, I mean, he kind of held her down, I guess, until she fell asleep. And then he went ahead and got up out of there. But I was just wondering, well, damn, what's the haps? What's going on here?
That's a good point. It could be a lot of things.
I don't think Nathan was wrong for leaving. I don't think they're friends like that. She need to talk to Molly. She need to call her home girl, and they need to discuss. She needs to have all her feelings with her bestie.
I agree, actually.
I agree as well.
Yeah, they're not in a relationship. And I mean, yeah, they're friends, but they're not friends like that. So
I mean, I agree. My thing was he was expecting a certain something, and that certain something didn't happen. So he was like, okay, bye. Like,
well, remember, she invited him to come over, right?
Yeah.
Am I right?
Yeah.
He was just like, all right, well, I'll see you later. And she was like, no, I want you to come over. So I guess he was kind of like, well, what's happening?
Right. And I think that within that year, the foundation they established for friendship was so solid that even though that mishap happened, it didn't translate in his mind that this is anything more. So if I'm your friend and we're doing this, but then you have a moment, okay, I'm gonna hold you down. But once you good, I'm out, because maybe I need to call the person who's in town, wherever downtown, so I can go there and get my fix. And then maybe like he has a bevy of women. So to him, he's like, listen, I'm not gonna be laying here and looking at his thing. Like, let me go do what I can do. And so he bounced. And I'm like, yeah, cool. Like, I think he was right in leaving. Maybe not right in leaving while she was asleep. I think he probably should have said, listen, I'm gonna hold you down, but eventually I'm gonna leave. But yeah, I don't think he has no responsibility to her to stay.
And like, if you're in those situations, sometimes you don't even want them to stay. Like, would you really want him there? Like, at that point, you're like, I'm just gonna deal with what's really happening.
He's still here.
Oh boy.
No, because she was the one who asked him to come in the first place.
Yeah.
Yeah. I just think she hit a wall.
Already gonna
like,
leave.
sorry. Yeah, he was gonna leave. It wasn't him. He didn't do anything wrong. It was
stay, and he did, and it got awkward. And he did an awkward situation for too long.
It made it less awkward that he left, in my opinion.
I agree. Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree.
But you know what though? Issa always puts dudes in those type of awkward moments, though, right? That's what she does. She does that all the time. So when she woke up, she was kind of like, he was gone, but she always kind of puts people in those type of, binds and try, that's just kind of how she gets down, I think.
Not with TSA Bay.
No.
TSA Bay he was the one that she did the right thing. He was the one making up. He just had too much going on. But I agree with you, Terrence. Most of our relationships is just odd to me.
Yeah, I'm learning a lot. Especially from a Tia. So, okay, women want dudes to get up out of there and have a situation. I totally misread the situation. Let me tell you what I read into it. This is just my interpretation. Maybe I didn't misread it. This is my interpretation. I look at it like Nathan wants this woman, and he doesn't just want to smash, he wants to be with her. And he's established that at least a year ago in episode 1, he was just like, he was undermining Lawrence. You still fooling around with that dude, you know what I mean? So he did that in season 4. He wants to be with her. And so I looked at it like, okay, well, this is the work that you have to put in. Not knowing everything that has happened between that year and the back and forth, like no one knows. But with the information given, I was just like, if you want to be with her and this is the emotional shape that she's in, then you got to play the long game. Like you need to be there in that room. And looking at her face by the end of the episode, it appeared to me that she didn't want to be alone. That was how I interpreted the way that Issa looked. And I know that sometimes women want intimacy and not sex. He's not Molly. the episode started with her in a bed with Molly. He is a full-grown man. I totally understand that. But once again, like if he wants to be like the number one, like the man, if he's feeling her on that level, this is the shape she's in. Yo, what are you going to do? You can't bounce. And so I felt like he bounced in a situation where he should have stayed anchored. And if she would have asked him to leave, maybe she did in that scene, in that moment that elapsed, maybe she did.
But Raj, do you think
ask
that
him to leave? But if she did ask to leave, I felt like he should have stayed. So what up? You about to say something, Terrence?
Yeah, I was gonna say, do you think that their relationship is like that, or he wants it like Issa like that, or do you think that they're more like kind of like a convenient relationship, you know, where when he's lonely or whatever and she's lonely, they kind of hook up. I don't really see their relationship kind of like that, because if their relationship was like that, it seemed like it would have been that way a long time ago. To me, it's always been kind of like hit and miss, you know. She see him after 6 months or whatever. So I mean, I think he cares about her, but I don't think he's really like pressing her. I think he did initially, but once she found out she was with avoid Lawrence, I think from there, he's kind of been like, you know, it is what it is. I don't think he's pressing her like that.
You don't think that he wants to be her man? You don't think it's that kind of deal?
I think he may want to be, but it's never been like that. So I don't think that, you know, I don't think that he's thinking that that's where they're going. I think they're cool, they can kick it, but I don't think that he's kind of like, you know, I'm about to start bringing her around to the family and things like that, because I just don't think that they've ever got to that part. They've been close, they've kicked it, but I don't think they've never really had that type of relationship to where he could just be like, this is about to be my girl.
But we also have to remember that like he just up and left like all of a sudden, right? He just like ghosted her without an explanation. And so like, I feel like what Issa wants is like someone who's stable, and like she's not getting that with either Lawrence or what's his name? Nathan. Yeah, she's not getting that with like either of them, right? And so like she's the one that supported Lawrence when he was like not really doing so much, and then when she finally had enough, like she dumped him, and then he finally got his shit together, and then she was like, oh well maybe, but then he was on his like fuckboy shit, right? And then she ended up getting with Nathan, and like that connection was cool, but it was just like more based in like fun, like not actual like stability. Like they had a lot of fun together. And then like he ghosted her, which was like extremely disrespectful, right? And so now they're in each other's lives to varying degrees, right? Like with this maybe friends with benefits situation, right? And so I do agree with you, Roger. Like it was disrespectful of him to leave. He should have like offered some sort of explanation. He basically ghosted her again, right? And so if you look at it through that perspective, like it's disrespect. So
if I can defend Nathan a little bit, I mean, he did leave her, he did ghost, but then he came back and it seemed like he was going through some mental health episode, and we haven't, he seemed sincere, and there was nothing that we've seen otherwise to say that he was not telling the truth about that. So I mean, I'm not saying he didn't do it and it wasn't traumatic, but I guess I'm just saying that saying he's ghosting her like he was just a flake is probably not being 100% fair to him, if assuming that he was telling the truth.
Yeah, and I think to add to that, I really don't think that he ghosted her the second time. The first time, yes, he did. But I think that there was some growth between him ghosting the first time and then coming back. And I think also the one thing that we've seen, or at least the one thing that I've seen with Nathan, is that he has this level of like introspection where he actually stops to really assess what's going on with himself. Because for him to be able to vocalize that I have these mental health issues, that lets you know that he's working on himself and he's a work in progress. So I don't think that the second time was a ghost. I think the second time was just more so like, you're in a really bad shape right now, and I have options. I don't have to be here. don't have to be here because what I want and what we agreed on, the agreement you're not fulfilling. So I'm about to head out somewhere. And because it was never like, and Roger, you know what? You are right. In the beginning, he was pressed. He was pressed for her. He wanted her. He wanted her to be his girl. He wanted all of her. And I think he still does. But I think he also understands what reality is. And reality is that I'm not going to get this girl unless she wants all of me and she doesn't. And so therefore I'm going to go somewhere else. Like, I'm not going to be wasting my time. Like, he's fine. He has options. Why should he be sitting there waiting for this one girl to figure her stuff out? He's out. He's gone downtown. I think it was downtown. He said he had plans at, right? He's gone downtown. When they were in the restaurant and the two people were making out, he's like, "Yeah, I got plans downtown." He went right back downtown.
Heard that. Well, I want to real quick, in the chat, Naja Girl 9 says, a real friend wouldn't leave you like that. And she also said, Issa needs someone who will stay. Nathan isn't the one. His MO is ghosting. So that is from the chat. Shout out to Naja Girl 9. And I can't, we're gonna have to agree to disagree. I think Nathan, I think once you want a girl to be like your everything, as you say, Ajwa, I think if she keeps you around, as long as she keeps you around, there's always hope. And he doesn't have, from what we know, if he has a bevy of women, then that means he doesn't have a woman. That means he's playing the game. That means he's playing a game. He's playing the field. And so if he has this space in his heart emotionally open for Issa, I think that, and I'm gonna stand on this, I think he blew an opportunity. He blew an opportunity. Hold her down. Maybe she'll feel differently in the morning. You don't know. so I just felt like he should have held it down, and we'll see. We'll see what happens with Nathan.
No, he should have got out of there. He should get out of there.
Say more.
He did the right thing, Jason.
Absolutely. He should have got out of there. And I don't know, maybe come back between 4 and 5.
All right.
AM or PM? AM or PM?
AM.
Right. This is
We'll slide back in before she wake up.
That's foul.
Jay, why do you think he should have got out of there?
She was asleep. She would have never known. He could have had a few drinks, listened to some R&B, and not feeling. If you're laying there in the bed, and he could have gotten miserable overnight. She would have slept through it. He would have been miserable. So, but he's down. He's down for her. When she said come, he came.
Okay, all right, for sure. Last thing on the table, man. Ajwa brought this up before. You guys were talking about this before. What has been going on? What do people, we don't know, but what inferences will people make has been going on with Issa over this year? Has she not hooked up with anyone? Did something just happen to her? What is going on with her relationship-wise, intimacy-wise, during this year that has elapsed? Anyone have any clues as to what's been going down with her?
Good question.
Oh, you guys remember when Issa was trying to do her rotation and how hilarious that whole thing was?
Yes.
I think it would have actually be a good idea if she broke up with Lawrence, she just took a year off to work on herself and work on her business. And then maybe, because that whole phase she was trying to go through just wasn't working out for her.
Yeah, I agree. I think that was kind of the gist I was thinking. Like, you saw her waking up, going straight to her toothbrush, and Molly was like, so I'm going to worry about that over here. Like, I think she was fully focused on just my business. I'm doing that, and it grew. So that's just kind of, I don't know that she just wasn't getting any. I think it was just, she was impressed for it. She was just kind of like, that's cool. I'm going to get up and start my day and be business, all about her business.
You guys said that she broke up with Lawrence like 2 or 3 times already.
What do you make of that, sir?
You guys know that's not how it went down.
No,
She didn't break up with Lawrence.
She cheated on him and he broke up with her.
That's not what you guys said. You guys said that she broke up with Lawrence 2 or 3 times.
What happened?
What?
She was in the studio with Daniel.
She's
on him. Hitting it from the back or something in the
Yeah.
That was seasons ago.
Yeah, right. But they say, and Issa came home and broke up with Lawrence. No, she stuck through it with Lawrence while he worked at Best Buy and sent out his applications and ultimately became who he was reaching for the whole time. She didn't break up with Lawrence. Lawrence got the heck out of there.
You want to get
the studio.
Yeah. I was thinking about this most recent time.
Yeah, the most recent time when she was like, I thought about it and I just can't.
Yeah. When she broke, when he picked her up at LAX and she's like, you know, I'm not feeling it anymore. But you're right. I mean, in that earlier season, she cheated and then hit it, and then he broke up with her once he realized what had happened.
Yeah, she broke up with him the last episode.
Yeah, episode.
Yeah, I just tried.
Yeah. What do people think? I mean, Terrence brought that up before. Like these tears are very fresh. I don't. Do people think she's taking a whole year off? Okay, in the chat, Najago9 says she's been working on her entrepreneurial grind. I mean, I don't want to be disrespectful, but a year, no intimacy for a year. Issa, I don't.
I think she needed to mourn her relationship with Lawrence. I think that was the problem before, in that she tried to move away from it by going through what she called her hoe phase, but she hadn't really. That was a long live relationship that broke up, and she didn't really give herself a chance to move away from it. And I think that was a big problem. So that's why I said I think if that is what she did, I could see that as being a good idea to give herself a chance to work through things.
I don't know that she did though. I think she focused on work. Like people do that all the time. They bury themselves in work and distract themselves. I don't think she's done the healing because she wouldn't have started crying right before having sex. Right. And I think so somebody said, talked about how she wakes up and takes her toothbrush. Molly woke up and was like, let me handle myself, right? Like that they had 2 very different mornings, right? I don't know that Issa is even, we don't know, they didn't show it, but I don't even know if Issa is doing that, right? Like I think she working and I don't want to feel nothing, I don't want to talk about it. And I think that she thought just like the rotation was going to work. I think she thought getting up under somebody else was going to make it work, and her life wasn't having it. Like that didn't work out for her.
That's a good point. That looking at the contrast in their morning routines.
And plus it is realistic though. Let's be real. I mean, I was joking about it, but it is realistic, especially when you numb yourself to the pain. She broke up with Lawrence, and that was a hard one, right? Because especially, I don't think it was because she wanted to. It's just because she just didn't want the baby in the picture. So that's a hard thing to accept. So it could have been that she became numb to some parts of her, and that translated to that sexual aspect of her too. It's real. It can happen, that she didn't do anything for a year. And that's why she broke down crying, because that was the first time she was ever feeling. And when that feeling came upon her, it went to a place of, an unhealed pain. Instead of pleasure, it went to that unhealed pain, because that's what's most heavy on her.
And I gotta think, if it's been a year, that means that her and Nathan, I guess their friendship, I guess, has been solidified.
Yeah.
And so
exactly.
That's how I took it. I took it to be as they were just talking, every time they were interacting, it was very friend. It was very friendly, very mutual. it wasn't like he was coming for her more like he used to be. I would say like to the point of like them previously like being in that like more of a relationship space, I kind of took it as like when she started crying, it was the intimacy thing, obviously, that kind of brought her back and brought her in that space. I agree that she was like numbing herself, working hard, and all of a sudden she's in a space where, okay, here's an option. I'm in a good place maybe. But she used to be intimate, really like emotionally intimate with Nathan. And then on top of that, with Lawrence and all the fact that neither of them wanted to break up. So I think it really brought her back to that. And I think it's the fact that it's Nathan that she used to have feelings for probably pushed and helped that. So yeah, I think it was probably a mix of all of that. But I think it was more of a, because they were intimate, like, because that's what she really hasn't been having. You know, maybe she's been going off and enjoying, you know, a morning like Molly's. But as far as intimacy, I don't think so.
Yeah, no Kelly Rowland for her. But yeah, you know, I don't know. It'll be interesting to I guess I'm assuming we're going to see flashbacks in the next episode, because something could have happened really fresh. Like she could have just saw the baby and Condola and Lawrence at the mall. You know what I mean? I'm pulling for this. I need this baby.
There you go.
I need
That's
the
what I was
baby
thinking.
to be born.
I need to see this baby. I need to see them, because it's like, you know, as a, oh, sorry, go ahead.
No, you go.
No, as a woman though, right? If you are like, okay, first of all, she didn't have Molly to even dump or to talk to with any of this too. So I can't, she did very little shadow work and then trying to build and secure her career. But I also think, like, you know, as a woman, you know, someone you are with has a partner who's getting more and more pregnant. Like in the back of your mind, you know, when she's 6 months, you know, when she's 6.5, you know, when she's 7.2. I'm just saying, you got like lightweight if nobody has told you, you know about when that baby's due. So I think she could have been just reliving all of these moments. Like that was just not a year that was jam-packed with content and potentially reliving trauma, because you are, but again, we'll see what she actually experienced. That easy year for her. So I think that being all bottled up, she's been holding a lot, and she probably felt safe with Nathan. But I get from Nathan, like they're like, you know, they had a thing once upon a time, but they kind of have settled into a friendship with a certain level of respect. And he didn't seem to he was surprised by the invitation. He had no plans on getting in anything with her. So I you know, I think he was like, well, okay. And I don't even know if he really thought it was the best thing to do himself.
Right.
So I don't know. It's just, there's so much more to be seen there, but I'm curious because I definitely hear you, Raj. I want to know about our relationship. And I know it was an easy year for her. So hopefully we get some flashbacks so we can clue in on what's her reeling that way.
Yeah, I want to trust them. I want to trust Insecure to kind of fill in all these questions and fill in this void that has been left in this year. And I really hope that they do that in the coming episodes. And well, gang, we're going to have to wait two more days until Sunday to see it. I want to thank you all for coming through and representing. I want to thank everybody watching on YouTube Live. Once again, if you haven't done so already, subscribe to the tribe and like this video, please, and drop a comment. Also, I have an email, awkwardblacktribe@gmail.com, awkwardblacktribe@gmail.com. Go ahead and send us an email. If you want to be part of the listserv, the email list is going down. You find out about the events before anyone else. So with that, man, I thank you all, man. Much love. Peace, tribe. And another one next week, same time. Same time, Friday, 6 o'clock Pacific time, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. That's right. Come back, join us, tell a friend, bring the homies. We're going to see what's going on with Issa and all her flashbacks. All right, y'all. Peace.
Night.
Good night.
Night.